Well, this is Bob Davis 321. I want to bring you something a little different today. I'm still working on my book on flying Arduino projects, but I have another thing I do a lot of, and that is refurbish projectors. And I want to tell you a story about why I refurbish projectors. Back around 2009, I was over in Accra, Ghana, Africa with my brother for a graduation of a video Bible school that he had there. And two of the students wanted to go into the far north and start a video Bible school up there. I can't remember if it was Tamale or if it was someplace north of Tamale in Ghana, Africa. So we took them up there. We had to rent a vehicle because we had to load a 25-inch TV, their bicycles and everything. We took them up there, and when we got there we discovered that there were a handful of churches in the area already, but they were of a certain denomination that I've had issues with in the past. Let me tell you about one issue. When I was in California, I attended a church for a while. I was on their door-to-door witnessing team. I was really involved in the church, and I thought, hey, this is so much better than the Methodist church I grew up in. And then one day the entire message was from 1 Corinthians 13, for when that which is perfect is come, that which is in part shall be done away with, etc. And the interpretation of that was that once we had the Bible, that all the gifts are gone, and that God doesn't do anything anymore, or doesn't heal people anymore. And I was really confused by that message, so I raised my hand and stood up, and he called on me, and I says, if God doesn't heal anymore, then why do we pray for the sick? Well, the pastor sent two ushers back. One grabbed each arm, and they literally threw me out of that church, told me never to come back. So back to Africa, I'm wondering, like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. And we left them there with about 5 or 6 students. While we were gone, we heard stories like the place where they were living burned down. At one point, their landlord was a Muslim, found out they were Christians and kicked them out. All kinds of interesting stories coming back. And then I think it would be early 2010, we went over for the graduation service to see how things went. That was an interesting trip because on the way there I was attacked by a demon. It literally looked like Darth Vader shape coming straight at me, knocked me down, but then disappeared, and my brother didn't see it, and he says, oh, you just tripped. And then the next morning at breakfast I heard a couple of people talking there, and I said, did you see that person appear out of nowheres and hit Brother Bob and then disappear into thin air? And I'm like, that was no person. It was a really interesting experience, but it was the devil trying to keep us going where we were going. And when we finally did arrive there, it was an awesome service. There were all kinds of kids out on the lawn because there wasn't room for them in the church. The church was packed, at least maybe 200 to 300 people, standing room only. And everyone was so excited, and all these pastors were coming up to my brother Fred and saying, we've been pastors for 15 or 17 years. We never heard that God still does miracles today, that He's still doing things today. And they were so excited to hear that God is still working in the lives of people today. And they wanted video Bible schools in many of their churches, which could be an issue because we got 2 kids on bicycles and a 25-inch color TV. So I prayed about it, and about that time, I think it was ViewSonic was selling some refurbished projectors for about $250 each, and I bought a few and sent them over and kind of forgot about it. Then a few years later, I can't remember who it was, but one of the pastors from Africa was actually here visiting, and he says, I need more projectors. I want these in multiple churches. And he begged me and pleaded with me to send more projectors. So at that point I decided to start what I call Projectors for Africa, and I bought 10, 20, 30 projectors, refurbished them and sent them over, and that basically started it. And of course it's not just Projectors for Africa, because before long we were sending them to the Philippines. A friend of mine, Brett Cliff, has taken 8 or 10 of them down to South America. I just got a thank you letter from a Bible school teacher in Haiti saying thanks for the projectors. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. I take these prefer Epson projectors. Actually, the Epson LCD projector is proven one of the most rugged ones. I've also sent over some Dell 2300 MPs, but you have to glue those things together because they're not very rugged at all. And I got another shipment of 6 or 7 projectors coming in. Mostly what these need is just a new filter. This one's missing the air filter. The air filter falls apart and sometimes gets sucked in and you get dust in there and stuff. But anyhow, I thought I'd let you know one of my many things that I'm working on, and maybe even a little update of about me for 2017. Thank you, and that's all for now.